Hello, yes, hi, and welcome to the Dark Knight Conspiracies, episode 15, weekend update. We have the server. So it's been a wild week this week, folks. A lot of news broke that not too many people pay attention to, especially if you're watching the fake news media these days. We're seeing Fox's news rankings are just tanking left and right. They're getting eviscerated on Twitter and Parler, and they're scrambling. So I want to start off with we're going to get into some election stuff, and I want to start off with a short clip that was Bernie Sanders on the Tonight Show prior to the election, and I want you to listen to what he says here.
And here is the fear, and I hope everybody hears that. It could well be, and, I don't know what's going to happen, nobody does, but it could well be that at 10 o'clock on election night, Trump is winning in Michigan, he's winning in Pennsylvania, he's winning in Wisconsin, and he gets on the television, he says, "Thank you, Americans, for re-electing me. It's all over. Have a good day." But then the next day and the day following, all of those mail-in ballots start getting counted, and it turns out that Biden has won those states. At which point Trump says, "See, I told you the whole thing was fraudulent. I told you those mail-in ballots were crooked, and we're not going to leave office."
Well, he must be a modern day prophet because he just told you exactly what happened on election night. With the with the exception of Trump did not come out and say he was reelected. He came out at 2 o'clock, and now he's the prophet because at his 2 o'clock in the morning press conference, he came out and said there's going to be a magic vote dump, ballot dump at 4 o'clock in the morning. And lo and behold, everybody woke up and Trump, who was winning in all those states, turned out to be losing. So now we got a recount going on in Wisconsin. The Republican House legislatures are calling on their Secretary of State in Michigan to do an audit. We got legal battles going on in all these states: Pennsylvania, Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, Nevada, Arizona. Keep in mind, folks, everybody going around saying Joe Biden's the president. Joe Biden is not the president. The media does not pick the presidents. They are projecting he will be the president. States have not certified their elections yet. The Electoral College has not voted, and Congress has not ratified. Nothing is final yet, and a lot can happen between now and then. So I want to turn to on Monday, Department of Defense Secretary Mark Esper was fired. And I thought this was a curious move. Some people were saying, oh, this is it. Trump's going to start getting vindictive and start getting rid of everybody who opposed him, which, back when these riots were starting, I'm sorry, peaceful protests were starting in Portland and Seattle, Esper publicly came out and said he would not authorize Donald Trump to use the military or the National Guard to go in and quell these peaceful protests. So Esper gets fired. Now, if you dig into, let me pull up the article. If you dig into what his role was, well, he was in charge of the Pentagon. And the Pentagon's been fighting with Donald Trump since day one. And that's where all our military is run out of. He is also in charge of the nuclear codes. So I'm sitting back and I'm thinking, so is it possible, and this guy's a deep stater, there's no doubt about it. Is it possible the reason he got him out of there is to prevent some kind of nuclear launch? Who knows? That's why we call this the conspiracy show. So I waited a couple days. So then on Tuesday, William Barr comes out, our attorney general, and he basically instructs all the states' attorney generals to go ahead and investigate voter fraud based on reasonable claims. Shortly after, he runs over to the Senate and meets with Mitch McConnell. And I thought, okay, maybe it's just a briefing. Well, this is odd. Then the next day, the CIA director, Gina Haspel, she runs over and meets with Mitch McConnell. And by the way, Mitch McConnell was one of the people that I had signaled that hasn't come to Trump's defense. We still haven't heard from Mike Pence to publicly come out and back the president. So I'm going to talk about him in a second. So now Gina Haspel goes, and she's head of the CIA. And she meets with Mitch McConnell. And I'm like, boy, this is odd. Then the next day, Mike Pence goes over to meet with Mitch McConnell. Now, this is too much of a coincidence for me. 3 high ranking cabinet heads going to meet with Mitch McConnell. Now, my first instinct was going back to Nancy Pelosi with her vote to elect a special committee under the premise of Article 25 of the Constitution, which allows you to remove a president out of office based on competency, health, etc. Now, in order to do that, you need 3 cabinet members, including the vice president. Well, we just saw 3 cabinet members meet with Mike Pence. So, was this really about laying the groundwork to get rid of Joe Biden? Or was this being talked about? Now, this was my initial theory, but I decided, you know what? I'm going to wait. I'm going to see how things play out throughout the week. So now I'm going to bounce around a bit, but everything's going to tie in. So I'm going to go to Michigan, where a lawsuit filed separately from the Trump campaign to stop the certification of our election results until we can do an audit of what was going on in Wayne County. And they had 6 affidavits and an actual city clerk whistleblower come forward. The judge ruled the other day, now get this, 6 witnesses with sworn affidavits. And folks, these people are under perjury for lying if they made these false statements. The judge ruled Listen to this. These witnesses are not credible. Folks, if you don't believe our judicial system is screwed up, and seeing what's gone on in other states, other cities, other counties, I know everybody's going to say, well, Trump's appointing all these judges. Well, Trump's appointing federal judges. These are not federal judges that are ruling on these instances. So our judicial system is corrupt. Nothing is going to get done. So for everybody sitting there having hope that, oh, stuff's going to get turned, no. This is leading right to the Supreme Court. This is where this is going to get resolved. Unbelievable, these crooked judges, how they have their jobs. I don't know how these people sleep at night, and they are going to pay when the day of reckoning comes. So now I'm going to bring up, and this is where stuff is starting to tie together. And I'll leave links, as I always do, in my description box. So the U.S. military seized the servers of Dominion. They found them, tracked them down. They were located in Germany. Now, for those folks that don't know this, and this is so ironic, if you look up Dominion, they are a Canadian-owned company. Kind of sounds like that whole Uranium One scandal, which was a Canadian-owned company, but that might be another show for another time. So they're Canadian-owned, and what they do is they collect all the votes from our machines, and they're tabulated, now get this, in Barcelona, Spain. And Rudy Giuliani was on the radio on Friday talking about this. Now, most people don't know this, that this is how our elections have been working going back to the 2000s. For 3.5 years, we had to listen to Russia interfering in our elections. Can you sit there and tell me we're worried about a foreign country interfering in our elections, which was proven false, but yet our machines, the software in the machines, and where the votes go to get tabulated are all in foreign countries being run? Seriously? And Congress has not done anything about this? Why don't we have our own voting machines and software? Why isn't this all done within the United States? I mean, people got to start asking some logical questions here, and that these people in Congress at some point are going to have to answer for all this, because again, I no doubt that this election was stolen, but this server is key because they were denied access in the lawsuits to the forensic data in the machines here in the United States in several states. Well, they don't need those machines. They've got the server. This is game over. They just caught them big time. Now, this was located in Germany. And some people would ask, well, how did Germany allow this? Well, don't forget, we have a military base in Germany. And it was the military that performed this operation. And you'll find out Representative Louis Gohmert on Newsmax, folks. Time to get off mainstream media and start looking at the real news. Go look for Newsmax on your cable companies. So the Army seized these servers. And they're going to find what happened, when it happened, and who did it. Coincidentally, has anybody seen Joe Biden lately? I guess he's back hiding, calling lids. He's not out there anymore touting his cabinet picks and what he's going to do for the country. They're starting to panic. So, how does this all tie in with Mark Esper and everybody visiting Mitch McConnell? Well, reports I have seen, not confirmed, so we're going to call them conspiracy. There was a high level intelligence meeting in the White House this week, and certain individuals were not allowed. Gina Haspel has been identified, possibly William Barr, and possibly Mike Pence. So, did they go to Mitch McConnell in panic to say they're onto us? Time to move to plan. I think they're on plan W now with everything they've pulled. But my understanding reading this article, the DOJ had to work with the State Department and had to work with the DOJ in Germany in order to do this raid. And my guess is Angela Merkel was also not in the loop on this. So this kind of ties in my opinion, the reason Esper was fired as head of the Pentagon to keep him from interfering with this military operation. Gina Haspel, not involved as head of the CIA clown agency, I should say. They were not in the loop. Nobody could be warned to prevent this. So we'll have to wait and see. This is the evidence that Trump needs. We'll have to see how he plays this out. So just real quick, getting back to this mainstream media. You know, going back to World War II, the cabinet members around Hitler had a theory. If you control the media, you control the public. And this is what's been going on, I'm going to say, for 50 years. So this leads me to Project Mockingbird. Now, this was initially started by John F. Kennedy, where he had the CIA wiretapping journalists because there were too many confidential leaks coming out of the White House. Well, the CIA started doing this, and these were warrantless wiretap operations. In other words, illegal. Well, the CIA started using this and said, "Hey, this is a great tool." And what they did is they started to use this across all the media, and all your media's companies, including cable and all that stuff, are owned by six corporations. Six corporations control the media in this country. So Project Mockingbird is real. You can do your own research, but they weaponized this and blackmailed the media, the clown agency, put their own operatives. You can look it up. Anderson Cooper on CNN, former CIA agent. You'll be surprised when you start looking into these TV anchors to see how heavily connected that they are with the clown agency, as I call them. So now I want to go to the book of The Art of War. And in it, there's a classic line that goes, "To your enemies, when you are strong, appear weak. And when you are weak, appear strong. So we get into all the coronavirus spikes again. Again, the deep state, they're panicking now. They're trying to shut and do lockdowns again so that none of this stuff can get to the courts to get ruled on before December 15th. And again, I want to caution people. I'm not saying the COVID stuff is fake, but they are using, the media are using fear to control you. And when you are scared, you are easily controlled. I can't stress that enough. This is all fear mongering. When you sit there and see all these spikes, yes, cases are going up. Listen to the key word. Cases are going up. You know what's not going up? Deaths. You know why cases are going up? Because we're constantly testing people. And there's reports out there where people have taken 4 straight tests. Same nurse, same machine, 4 straight tests. 2 false negatives, 2 false positives. It's fear mongering. And I know there's people out there that just panic over this COVID, but I'm telling you, it's not as bad as everybody's making it out to be. Unless you've got other things wrong with you, like, age, diabetes, that type of stuff. It's no different than the flu or the cold for people when they get up in age with these other conditions. It's a little harder to shake, but that aside. So this came out this week. More than 130 Secret Service officers are said to be infected and are quarantining. This is Trump's Secret Service detail, folks. Now, I believe this is Trump trolling the deep state and trying to force their hand. Again, when you are strong, appear weak. You honestly think 130 Secret Service officers are infected and quarantining? No. They're getting ready for the next phase of what the deep state's going to throw at them. And my guess is they are securing the White House because we've heard Joe Biden, we've heard Nancy Pelosi, we've heard all the Democrats come out. Trump will be escorted. He will be dragged out by the military. We will take the White House. I believe this is their next move. When Trump gets announced that he won this election, I do believe they're going to storm the White House. The only problem is I don't think Trump will be there. So that's my show for this weekend. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons and share with your fellow friends. Remember, be strong, stay vigilant, and stay safe. And always, always keep your faith in God. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Same bad time, same bad channel. Good night.